How is it going, you lovely lot? And a warm welcome back. It's Monday. I'm sorry there wasn't a video yesterday, but today we are back not for the Carabao Cup final, not because I bottled it, but because the Champions League knockout rounds actually started a lot sooner than I realised. And well, as you can see, we've been drawn against Roma. Of all the teams we could have been drawn against, I don't feel like this is the worst draw in the world. If I was going to identify a player to fear in their team, it would probably be Manu Kone. He could have been a good buy like a year and a half ago when I first had him flagged. Saying all of that, I am relatively content with the team at our disposal, even if, since you were last here, the games have been nothing short of tragic. Of course, this is normally the bit where I show you all the highlights from the games, but in the two games we've played, there's been a solitary goal. It's not even worth showing you. Against Aston Villa, second round of the Carabao Cup semi-finals, 0-0. We'd already won the first leg 5-0. I rotated the team very, very heavily for this game, and, well, it's a good job we did quite well, really. And, of course, when I say quite well, having won the first leg 5-0, we didn't completely bottle it, and I suppose, technically, we did also keep a clean sheet. In terms of the final, it is in over a month's time, so I'm not sure if we're even going to get to that next episode, if I'm being honest, but we are taking on West Ham at Wembley, which I feel like is remarkably winnable. Steven Gerrard's their manager and they're down in 14th. And while the other game I've played since you were last here was this absolute embarrassment. 1-1 against Ipswich Town. Livramento rescued us the game, really, and rescued us a point. Ipswich are down in the relegation zone. This is inexcusable. And well, the reality is when you look at our recent form, we have one win in our last 8 games. And as you can perhaps expect, we're not in a title fight anymore. I mean, the reality at this point is the FA Cup, Carabao Cup and Champions League are probably just the main focuses. The silver lining in all of this is Aston Villa, who are the key team to finish above, are trailing us by, 8 points? And we've got a game in hand on them. I suppose it's obvious when you look at the stats here. Defensively, we've been pretty good this year. 22 goals conceded is the second best defence in the league. From a goal-scoring point of view, we've just not really been good enough. But we've only lost 3 games. It's actually the draws that have kind of cost us. And if we win our game in hand, we'd actually move up to 3rd. That said, Eddie Howe's Liverpool are just far too good. So yeah, the title has kind of gone, hasn't it? Any hopes of that? I did mention earlier how the Carabao Cup final might not be tomorrow, because we could get through in the Champions League, and depending on how the fixtures line up. But if we lose against Roma today, I mean, it could be a case of we do the Carabao Cup final and finish the season tomorrow, and it's all just a bit of an anticlimactic ending. I would love to go on a run to end things this season in the Champions League. It'd be a nice positive. Now, I really didn't discuss transfers last episode because there was not a lot going on. I mentioned the fact we'd run out of money. There was one player who joined us, and it was Karabashvili, the young Georgian left-back, who obviously upon turning 18 has now joined us. He is a solid little player for the future. You might remember, I think, when I covered him last year, because this is a signing that was a year in the making, I think I said I signed him for £1 million. I didn't ever admit to the fact I accidentally hit cancel on the deal. On this screen here, it's very easy to hit cancel by accident. I don't know if anyone else has done it. There's no confirmation. So I kind of mentioned, like last year, I was signing him for £1 million, accidentally cancelled it. And the only way I was able to get the deal rolling again was to offer them £3 million, which I still feel like is quite a good deal for him, but it's more than I wanted to pay. In terms of transfers out, just a couple to mention, and they're both loans. The first is Kinte, who we agreed to sign last year, a player for the future, who I think is going to be absolutely phenomenal. This guy is just a must-buy player if you're playing Football Manager. He starts out with, I think, 15 tackling, marking, and heading, kind of the holy trinity of technicals for a goalie he has. We signed him for £4.4 million. He spent the next year on loan at Tromsø. He's now returned to us in January, and I've sent him back to Borussia Mönchengladbach, where, on his debut, he's got a 7.4 rating, playing for kind of a mid-table Bundesliga team. And the other man I've loaned out is Obi, who I know in real life is really, really hotly kind of touted as the next big thing. In this universe, he's got really high jumping reach and really big height, and I can't work out if that's actually how tall he is in real life, or if he has a 0 set for his height in the database, so it randomly generates every time. Is he this big? I'll be honest, I've only seen him a handful of times play football, but I know he's very highly rated in real life, and while his recent developments have been positive, if I'm being real, he is still a long, long way from being kind of close to being in our first team. But a loan to Hull in the Championship, I think, is only going to be a good thing for him. Anyway, plan of attack for today. I'm going to do the game against Roma. I'm then, in a recappy fashion, going to do the FA Cup game with a very rotated team. Maybe a chance to put the spotlight on some players that you wouldn't normally see in episodes. And then, of course, we are doing the second leg against Roma. The eternal dilemma I have this year now is kind of what tactic do I use in different games? And I feel like in this game, first leg against Roma, I feel like I should play the 4-2-3-1. That is despite the fact, and I had to go check this, we are at home for this game. I wish that somewhere on this screen it said if you were home or away. It's kind of mad that it doesn't. But yeah, I am going to go to the more conservative system, at least to start the game. Big bit of team news. Bruno is suspended today, so Kobbie Mainoo is the logical player to bring in to play that defensive midfielder role for us. Elsewhere, Livramento, one booking from a suspension. Murillo in a similar situation as well. Mainoo and Sesko, other players walking a tightrope. I don't really want to have any of those players missing for the second leg, especially because it is away from home. But hopefully we're going to go into that second leg with a lead to defend. Okay, at home, Champions League knockouts. I want to go on a run here. We didn't really go on a cup run last year at all. Of course, we weren't in Europe back then. We took on Roma, you might remember, in the earlier rounds of the Champions League. I'm trying to remember what the score was. I feel like we beat them 1-0. But over 2 legs, obviously, slightly different proposition. Corner on the far side. Ahmad starting in this game at centre attacker mid. Mora is still injured as well. A big miss for us, but a player we've been without for a while. And maybe I don't need him. Benjamin Sesko, near post header. 1-0. It's only his 4th goal in the Champions League this year. He's featured in every single game, Sesko, and to be fair, in the league, he has been the main source of goals. I think he is now on maybe 20 goals for the season with this goal here. I think the next closest is maybe 9. I suppose when you play a single striker system, there is always going to be that spearhead to the attack, and he's lived up to that billing, Sesko. But we maybe need a little bit more support from the players around him, and maybe that is something we can yet see in this game here. The ball is going to be played forward. Long with the ball is dispossessed. That's a crunching tackle by Livramento, who recently broke into the Premier League Media Dream 11, showing he's a dreamy player here as it falls to Dorgu, falls to Ahmad. First goal in 7 Champions League outings for him. 2-0, we are flying. We've won 1 of our last 8 games. I've bottled it repeatedly in episodes in the last minute, so I'm not taking anything for granted here. This goal was scrappy, it's so congested in the middle, but that's a really good finish. You might not be able to hear it in the background. Some of my neighbours are doing fireworks. Clearly they're as excited as I am about the fact Manchester United are 2 goals up here. Sula cutting inside though. Look, let's not get complacent yet. There's a lot of football to be played. And they've got a chance here. It's Noah Lang, I think, on the far side. You know what? He can do shots like that for the rest of the game. That's fine with me. That was awful. This is the kind of game where I want to just shout encourage. You know, the old football manager in me is like, I just want to do a shout now. I just want to let the players know they're doing great, more of the same. Roma have not had a shot on target in this game. They've had a decent amount of the ball, but that defensive shape that we've really refined, I feel like this year has worked particularly well so far in shutting them down. I suppose at this point it's about trying to push home this advantage at home before a trip to the Italian capital. Anyway, Esteval to Murillo. Yoro with it, who really has nailed down that right centre mid spot ahead of De Ligt. Ball played forward to Esteval, who's been a revelation this year. He steps inside, he shoots. Oh my word. Esteval, normally Mr. Assister, today Mr. Goal Scorer. Who had he played it into the channel? Of course, Esteval playing as that channel forward. Little turn inside, skips past his man. And well, he just wraps his foot around it, doesn't it? Instep. Weird angle, actually, to go for the instep on his right foot. Ramsdale, though, couldn't get his hands on it. Does anyone else feel like this is weird? Like, this is weird. The recent episodes haven't gone like this. This is what happens in the games I don't do in videos normally. We can be quite a bloody good football team, it turns out. He says, having just drawn 1-1 against Ipswich Town. No disrespect to Ipswich fans out there. I'm thinking at 3-0 up here, is it worth making some changes to those players 1 game off a booking? Or actually, is it worth trying to get Sesko, Livramento, Murillo, Mainoo yellow cards? Because if they're going to miss 1 game, actually missing the second leg of this tie is probably more advantageous than if they were to play in the second leg, get booked in that game, and then miss the next knockout round. Maybe I'm counting my chickens before they hatch. Maybe I shouldn't be thinking ahead, because Roma have just started this off with half an opportunity. Okay, I was thinking about making some changes, but they've now got a free kick in a semi-dangerous area. Sula on his left foot shoots. That's hit the outside of the post. Sesko out of possession. Harder tackling. Harder tackling on all these players now that are 1 off a booking. Livramento out of possession. Harder tackling. Get him on it. I'll tell you what would be funny is if all these players who are 1 booking away from a suspension just get a straight red. I mean, I would have played myself at that point. Mainoo hasn't had the best of games here. So you know what? I'm going to bring in Basuma. And then I'm going to move him to defensive mid and let Bouhaddi play as that box-to-box playmaker. With how much Bouhaddi is improving, he is actually really capable of playing that role where he does get higher up the pitch. I'm looking at Gueye in the middle thinking, he's looking a little bit tired. You know what, De Ligt, you come in Just play at centre-back, no nonsense. Ahmad, free kick, takes it short. I don't mind that. Little tricky play. Ahmad, to be fair, has been very good this year when we've called upon him. He's a bit unfortunate, I suppose, in the sense that Esteval's been great and Mora I want to persist with. That's a sensational pass. It's a shame Buadi has 8 finishing, isn't it? This has been a really pleasing, promising team performance so far. Something that we've not seen in a little while. Ball was whipped almost towards the near post. Instead, it comes back out to Ahmad. Inside, Esteval looking for a fourth. Dorgu, surely. He gets it. It's 4. It's embarrassing for Roma. I do read the comment section. I've seen the people going, it's very suspicious that he doesn't win games in live commentaries. It's because I normally do the difficult games. The Man Cities, the Real Madrids, the Tottenhams. Okay, one of those isn't like the others. This should have been a tricky game. You wouldn't know it looking at the scoreline. Roma are yet to have a shot on target in this game. We have the second best defence in the Premier League, and I think with our, various setups that I kind of use depending on the situation, we've actually found a really good solution to that element of our game. I feel like the big focus, I suppose, over the next 6 months, kind of going into next season, if I really want to challenge for the title, is going to be, as they nearly score, just how we attack in games. Throwing on the near side, Livramento, Esteval. We're going to have to work the ball from deep if we want to make something happen. And giving away the ball there is not what I wanted to see. Evan Ferguson, edge of the box. Sula, not a bad finish to draw a little closer. 4-1 isn't quite as impressive, is it? Have brought on Ryan, Rashford and Cunha just to end this game, just about giving them a little bit of game time as much as anything else. This game here finishes 4-1. And despite that one goal from a long shot that was their only shot on target, it was a near flawless kind of defensive effort from us. AC Milan lost to Celtic in the first leg. AGF have made the knockouts from Denmark. I mean, fair enough. And Girona winning on the road against Leipzig. Some interesting results then. Some interesting teams making it into the knockouts. Okay, I'm being told Sesko needs a rest. Well, the good news for our players is I'm going to give the bulk of them a rest going into this next game. I feel like this year we've done a lot of focus on the big games. Let's do one of the littler games. We're taking on Swansea. It's the FA Cup. A chance to play some of the kids. Hopefully we can keep this winning run going. And by winning run, I mean it's 1 win. Let's make it 2. Okay, game number 2 today, Swansea. No nonsense. We're going to jump into this one straight away. It should be a relative formality. Sam Johnson makes his debut in goal. Of course, we signed him as a homegrown at Club Clare in the summer. Karabashvili is going to make his live com debut at left centre-back with Aiden Heaven and Willy Kambwala. Definitely a little bit of a misfit setup at the back, but hopefully they're going to be good. The midfield, pretty standard players that are featured in the first team. Up front, Cunha, Emblemo, Ryan. Of course, Cunha's been unhappy for a hot minute at the club. I've given him the odd appearance here and there, and I'll be honest, he's just not been very good when I've used him over the last 2 years, which is a bit annoying because on paper he should be good. He's been trying to force a move. No one wants to buy him. Maybe a hat-trick against Swansea will convince teams to make bids. Okay, the 18-year-old Karabashvili plays it forward to Mainu. It's raining at Old Trafford, by the way, so take that off your bingo card if you had it for today's episode. It's always raining here in Manchester, apparently. Henry making an amazing little run. I love this. That's nice. Mainu again. Henry, this is lovely. This is nice. Ahmad probably should have found the target. It is worth noting I'm playing the more attacking system today. So we are attacking with that kind of standard shape, but the 4-4-2 when we don't have the ball is the name of the game as Ahmad flashes it in. Ryan opens up the goal scoring, hopefully the first of many. Ahmad on the right side, oh my word, he's absolutely skinned his man. He plays it across, it's hacked away off the line. Aiden Heaven's now going to bring it forward still. Could we still create something? It's dinked in. Is Henry onside there? I guess he is. We're playing on. Karabashvili shoots, I think. It's fallen to Basuma. He shoots. I think that's deflected off Embuemo. It's in the back of the net. It's 2-0. I complain often that the slow-mo is too kind of long on these highlights, and I maintain that. But it is worth just seeing how that's gone in off Embuemo. He didn't know anything about it. You can see the out-of-possession formation here. Look at the match ratings. The players are playing great. I mean, it's been a pretty dominant first half. Swansea haven't had a shot on goal at all. Not a great day for the away fans. I'm going to take off Basuma on a booking and bring in Miley. Elsewhere, you know what, Buadi? I just want to give Buadi game time. He can come in here. I feel like it's almost not worth using the rest of my subs, to be honest. I kind of want to save legs for the Champions League. If there is a disappointment to this game, it would be the fact that we've only scored 2. We've been absolutely dominant here. We've been far and away the better team. Stat line suggests that. Scoreline suggests that now. That's a ridiculous goal by Ahmad. 4 minutes of added time at the end of this game are going to come and go. 3-0 the final result here. Wasn't ever really in doubt. They didn't have a shot on target. Ahmad, by the way, 10.0 rating from right wing back. His versatility is very useful. In some ways, it's a bit of a shame that we have Livramento, who I think is a better defensive right back, and at centre attacking mid, I do feel like just the raw potential of Esteval makes me favour him. I mean, to be fair, Ahmad has improved a lot. It's funny, Diallo is better in every single stat per 90, except average rating, where Esteval has the lead. I assume that's because Ahmad's come on off the bench so much, really. In retrospect, probably should have rested him for the next game. We're taking on Roma, away from home, have a healthy lead. This should be a formality. Should be. Well, there's been a few games where we've shipped a lot of goals. Just as things are looking up, little spanner in the works. Amad Diallo, unhappy due to the withdrawal of a contract offer. Now, he's been asking for a new contract for a while, and I thought, you know what? He's been in great form recently. He's on £100,000. I'll give him a new one. He came to me and asked for £240,000 a week, and that was after I negotiated it down. But on top of it being £240,000, he wanted a 10% yearly wage rise. As you can imagine, I told him the yearly wage rise isn't happening. He had the audacity to ask for £300,000 a week. One of the same amount as Bruno, which, I'll be honest, Bruno is probably on a little bit too much, really, as is Rashford, De Ligt and Cunha, when you realise they're some of the top earners. I can't justify making Diallo the second highest earner at this club. He's been great, but he's also not really been a regular starter this year. His request seems mental. He's got 3-year seasons left on his current deal. He can wait. I want you to know that I was promised a new contract. You were promised I'd make an offer. It's not my fault you rejected it, you dingus. He can't keep his unhappiness to himself, mate. Do one. Right, well, that's really good prep for this second game. It's a good job we won the first leg, isn't it, by as many as we did. Obviously, we're taking on Roma today. I've realised I've got the system set up from the previous game. Obviously, not going to play that away from home. We're going to go to the 4-2-3-1. I think for this game, I'm probably going to swap Amad and Esteval around, purely because I think Amad is just the better kind of, obviously, right mid option. You might have noticed, obviously, I think when I first showed this system, I was playing with 2 tracking wide midfielders. Have switched it up for just a regular wide mid at right mid, purely because I didn't really need them dropping as deep. And also, Buadi, from a defensive point of view, I feel like can almost make up for having a slightly less defensive role at right mid. But the rest of this team makes sense. This should be a straightforward match. If they score first, I might start to panic. It was really nice to score a load last game. Imagine if Hamad has an absolute worldie again. He's bringing it forward. Imagine. I might have had to write out a cheque with that £400,000 or £300,000 he wanted, had that gone in. Roma playing the ball through the back here. I mentioned Kone. He is the man who I'm most fearful of. Although, obviously, if they want to have some inspiration, it's probably going to have to come from someone who isn't their defensive midfielder in this game. Maybe a wide player like Sula, who just skips past his men, dinks it in. Evan Ferguson scored an overhead kick. I mean, what do you say about this? Sula dinks it. He's bicycle kicked it in. It's amazing. I can't even be mad. Obviously, from my point of view, not the ideal start to the game, but having scored in the 9th minute, we've now kind of kept them a little bit quiet. We've still got a 2-goal cushion as the away team. Okay, Bruno over a free kick here. Probably should look to cross it. Goes for goal. I mean, Ramsdale had to save it. Maybe the tide in this game is switching a little bit. We could be on the attack again here. Buadi to Ahmad. Trying to get it on his left foot here. Back to Buadi. Yoro has the ability, if he needs to step out with the ball. Gay gives it to Murillo. Wide, Dorgu, Esteval, Fernandez, Sesko. It was such a beautiful move. The finish was lacking at the end of it. That felt like a very quick first half, which is perhaps in our favour. And having started the game really well, they definitely slowed down. Set piece for us here. Bruno definitely shouldn't shoot from here, but yeah, he might go for it. Or go short. Murillo, Sesko, Yoro, Esteval shoots. I thought it was in. I thought the pop-up at the bottom was a goal, but it was a sub being made. Okay, time for some changes in this game. Dorgu not having a great game at left wing-back. Let's bring in Rico Henry to play there. Elsewhere, Ahmad, to be honest, is having an absolute stinker. And Buemo, I think, is the man with a plan to bring in that part of the pitch. I'm looking at Esteval and Sesko thinking you two have been quiet, but they are also the top goal scorer and highest assister in the team. And I do feel like with that in mind, you just kind of have to keep them on the pitch, at least for a little bit longer, try and let their creativity and goal scoring shine. Roma with a set piece. They've still only had 3 shots on target. Since they scored, they've had 1. We've kept them shut down for the most part. And efforts like that I am fine to see. 20 minutes remain. I feel like if there is to be another goal in this game, I really want it to be in my favour, purely for my own heart, because it could get a bit stressful otherwise. The ball is being passed around the back from us here. Roma not exactly engaging in the press as Yoro brings it out. Livramento should burn his man, does burn his man. The number 3 floats it towards Sesko, who heads wide. 10 minutes remain. Roma still the only team to score in this game. It's not been a classic. We're doing what we need to do. Gonna take off Sesko, gonna bring in Basuma, and hope that that is that. 4 minutes of added time to be played here. Roma, you know what? I thought for a moment they were gonna put up some opposition at the end. It really fizzled out into nothing in this second leg. A bit of a tame affair compared to the first. We did lose on the night, but we did what we needed to do. Still in the Champions League, still in the FA Cup, in the Carabao Cup final. Things have gone much better today. Wow, AGF made it through to the next knockout round. They knocked out Lille. Elsewhere, AC Milan beat Celtic on penalties, and Leipzig came back from 2-1 down to demolish Girona. Now, of course, the big game on the horizon for us is the Carabao Cup final, which happens in a month's time. But I assume somewhere before that, there is going to be some Champions League matches slotted in. Barcelona are through, Porto are through, Galatasaray beat Inter, and elsewhere... Wait, did Tottenham lose on penalties? Wow, they did. Fair play to Sociedad. Also, how have they won that? Look at the stats for this game. 2 goals from 0.71 XG. At least we're not Spursy. It's a bit of a shame that currently in FM26, and I really hope this changes, there's no knockout round draws. You lose the suspense in games like this, although the draw has happened. Who are we taking on? Man City. Why Man City? It's an all-Manchester affair, and the first leg will be the opening game next episode. It's been lodged in my schedule here. I think next episode we're doing both Man City games and the Carabao Cup final. So that is going to be must-watch television. If you have enjoyed today's episode, go down below, leave some support on the series, feed the YouTube algorithm with a like. It helps a lot. Besides all of that, back same time and place as always. And until then, it's me, Jack. I'll see you at lunchtime tomorrow. I'm out.